Thank you for agreeing to this interview.
No problem.
My first question, sorry?
Thank you for having me. Obviously, without people like yourselves, we wouldn't have a platform. So it really means a lot that you even wanted to talk to me in the first place.
Okay. Well, I enjoyed the album. Anyway,
Oh, excellent.
I thought we could start off with, can you tell me a little bit about the band? Where did it come from, and a bit of history about
Yeah,
yourself?
of course. So the band started in 2015.
Uh-huh.
And essentially I've been doing music seriously since I was about 18, but I kind of had a knockback after my first band broke up, and my teachers at college weren't very supportive of doing music. They were like, it's a 1 in a million chance that you would be successful, so do something else. So I ended up just doing like covers and being in cover bands for a while and all that kind of thing. And then I decided, because I didn't want to be an adult yet, that I was going to go to university when I was 22 after doing the cover scene for a couple of years and actually study music. So I ended up in Cardiff because I am from Blackburn in the northwest, and I'd applied to every capital city and decided to go to Wales. And when I got there, a rock bar had just opened called Fuel Rock Club, and I got chatting to one of the barmen who was a guitarist, and he had a best friend who was a drummer, and somebody I knew I asked to play bass, who was actually a guitarist, and asked them to play bass. And we had the first lineup of our band. And literally within a week, the guitar player had booked an hour and a half gig, even though we only had 5 songs.
Right.
So that's how we got our start. And, the lineup has changed over the years. But me and Sam, the drummer, are still original members. And we've now had Dan, our bass player, with us for about 3-4 years, and the same with Luke. He's been with us 4 or 5 years now. So when people say how long have you been together, it's technically 7 years, but because of the pandemic, I say it's been about 5.
Right. What about that interesting name you've got, Beautiful Disasters? Where did that come from?
So when we first got together, I'd been calling myself Beth Blade for a while. I had an interview and a review once in another band where somebody had said my voice had cut them like a knife, and I was like, "Ooh, alliteration, Beth Blade, I like that. I'll go with it."
Okay.
And the boys had decided that at that time everybody had there was kind of a trend of like, those damn crows or these wicked whatever or that kind of
Yeah.
thing. And we were like, well, we won't do that. And we don't want to do like a really short, blunt name.
Yeah.
Why don't we go the Joan Jett route and do like Joan Jett and the Black Arts as kind of like a tribute, but also, I'm the primary songwriter, and it's kind of, I've got the big vision for the band and that kind of thing. So we were like Beth Blade and the What, and at the time, the song "World on Fire" by Slash and Miles Kennedy had
Yeah.
just come out, and it was
Okay.
massive, and it was
Right.
everywhere. And there's a line in that song that says "like a beautiful disaster," and I
Hmm.
was like, you know what, I really like that, because life is a beautiful disaster sometimes. It's a wonderful thing, but things can go wrong.
Yeah.
So that's where the name came from.
Oh, okay. I mean, you've supported the likes of those damn crows, Ricky Warwick, Dan Reed. I mean, do you learn a lot from the headlining acts as a supporter?
Absolutely. You should always so the thing that we do is we always make sure that when we do a gig we watch every band on the bill,
Yeah.
not only out of respect, but also because you need to, and I don't see the industry as a competition, but people should inspire you and push you to be better,
Hmm.
you know. So for me, watching these people that we've had the absolute pleasure and opportunity of playing with is not only fun for me as a fan, but it's also a learning curve. and you try your best to kind of absorb the positives into your own performance, and your own the way that you treat people and the fans and things like that. Ricky Warwick is a top bloke. We did a couple of acoustic gigs with him. Marco Mendoza is absolutely fabulous, and we were lucky enough to play the Kiss Cruise with Kiss, which was a massive deal. And again, the standard that is set on an event like that is absolutely incredible.
Sure. I mean, that was my next question, actually. So I'm a huge Kiss fan. I was going to ask you if you got any stories about, Kiss at all, or did you meet Gene Simmons and Paul Stanley and all those guys?
Yeah, so the funny thing is that I'm luckily enough that I've met Kiss before. I'm a big Kiss fan myself. I'm named Beth after the song because my parents are huge Kiss fans. And back in my early 20s, I got to meet them by complete accident after a concert. We were staying at the same hotel.
All right.
Ended up striking up a friendly relationship with their manager, Doc McGee. So anytime they come over, he gets in touch and says, "Do you want to come hang out?" kind of thing. And the funny thing about the Kiss Cruise is that it was a competition. So we just applied, and I thought, you know what, we're never going to get it. And we ended up winning the competition along with Thunder Mother and what are they called now? I can't remember. They're an American band. Skip my mind. Anyway, so we get on the boat, and I didn't mention it to Doc because I was like, I want to do it off our own backs, you know what I mean? And, Doc McGee is a massive music manager in the world of music, but I'm not the kind of person who would go and ask favours from anyone because it's important to me that on this journey we do it, legitimately, not buying onto anything, not paying anybody for anything or getting connections to say, yeah, you get this, because I don't think that's fair. And we were on the boat, and he came to see us play, and afterwards he pulled me to the side and he was like, I'm really proud of you. You've managed to get here and on this bill without saying a word to me. And I was like, well, yeah, I'm not going to do that. But it was a fantastic experience. And the people in Kiss and within the Kiss organization are some of the nicest people. Gene gets a bad rap, but he's actually the biggest sweetheart and probably one of the most intelligent people I've ever had the opportunity to speak to be honest. In the in a 20-minute conversation, we discussed politics, history, physics, with a rock star that I've been idolizing since I was about 2 years old.
I mean, it's I think Gene sometimes just shoots off at the mouth sometimes in public, and it gets into a lot of trouble. But I get the impression he's certainly got it upstairs, really.
Well, see, this is the thing, isn't it? Don't we all say stuff like that all the time? But unfortunately, we're not massive rock stars, so it's not front page news.
I mean, I love the title of your new album, Mythos, Confession, Tragedies and Love. How did you arrive at that title? And is there an overriding concept or idea to this album?
Yeah, so when I was writing the songs, I had the general idea in my head that it was going to be not a concept album, but it was a story of pain and survival and hope. And for me, certain songs clicked into place of representing certain themes. So like Tonight I'm With You is about those nights that you spend with your friends, and then you tell those stories forever, 20 years later, to any new people that you meet. So for me, it's like the way that the album title came around was that mythos is mythology, and the stories that we live, the stories that we tell, become the mythology of your life. And on the album as well, discussing really dark subject matter, really personal. This is the most personal album we've ever written. So to me, it was almost like a confessional. So that's where the confession came from. And the tragedy, of course, of you know, while I was writing the album, these bad things had happened to me personally, but also in the pandemic, you know, people passed away who are no longer with us, and awful things going on in the world. So, you know, there are tragedies happen every day. But for me, the overriding thing to remember is that there's so much love in the world. So it's kind of that journey of all of our stories, the bad things that happen, but overcoming them with the love that we have for each other and our community of music.
Yeah, I mean, it's, so how does it sound, do you think, compared with your previous two?
I think it's a lot more mature. I think lyrically it's a lot heavier and a lot more complex.
Right.
So the thing is with a rock and roll band, which we are known for, and I still would say we're a straight up hard rock band, and when we play live, we play, you know, we like to have a good time. But with this album, it's kind of the next development in, you know, you kind of sometimes worry about getting pigeonholed as having to play, you know, upbeat rock and roll songs all the time and being fun. And I felt, for me, that as a writer, it was better to be honest than to write what people would necessarily expect of us.
Yeah.
So everybody has been through this mass trauma and this global grieving. And I thought that coming from a place where I too had been through these things would be way more of a thoughtful, connective piece than just writing something that wasn't authentic.
Yeah, sure. I mean, it's I was going to ask you, actually, the production on the album is really good, actually. What was it like working with Nick Bryan, was it? Who did he produce the album?
Yeah, so Nick actually worked on our first two albums.
Okay.
But there was a bit of a difference with this one. So our first album, we did it in 6 days.
Right.
Which is no time at all for a record.
Sure.
And on the second, we had 2 weeks, and we decided that we would go for the really glossy, perfect production, double tracking, layers and layers of harmonies, you know, and I was really happy with how it came out. But when it came to this one, I was like, well, what's the point in doing something that we've already done again? If we're going to develop in terms of our content and our songwriting and move along on our journey, I think we should do that in the studio as well. And a comment that we often get is that people listen to our recorded music, and not that they necessarily don't like it, but they think it's very prim and proper. And then they come and see us live and they go, wow, I wasn't expecting that. Because they don't expect it to be so heavy or so rocky, and they certainly don't expect me to sing how I sing live. So when it came to this album, we decided that we weren't going to double track. We were going to do it as close to live as possible.
Okay.
So all of the drums were done with us all playing together. So obviously Sam was isolated in another room, but we could hear each other through the headphones. So we had that energy as if we were playing the songs to a live audience.
Right.
And all the guitars are single tracked. Same with the bass. You know, there's no layering, there's no just a wall of guitars. It is literally, I'm on the left, Luke's on the right, bass is in the middle, drums. And so literally the only overdubs are the vocals and the lead guitars. And for those, we wanted to keep the takes down to the absolute minimum. So for vocals, it was 3 takes max for each song. And then again with the backing vocals, we did some backing vocals, but not so much that they were layered, and like, you know, on one of the last songs there were 32 vocal parts on one of the songs on the last album. So we kept it really simple. And then for me, vocal wise, I really, really pushed myself to deliver the goods in terms of singing in a studio is a lot different than singing live. So for me, I was trying to get myself into a place where I was pumped like I would be if we were doing a live show before doing those vocal takes.
There's a song on your album called Ozymandias. Now, I know the Shelley poem, but I'm kind of interested where you're going with this song.
Oh, this is the first time I've had to explain this.
Uh-huh.
So during lockdown, obviously everybody was bored and had nothing to do, and I had been putting off watching the TV series Breaking Bad.
Oh, I love that series.
Because
there's an episode called Ozymandias, isn't there?
There's an episode called Ozymandias, and I was watching it and it made me furious. I was just so angry at all of the characters. So I was literally sat there watching it on the sofa, and the words started coming into my head, and within 20 minutes I had the lyrics for the song.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously the TV series is set in the South of the United States of America. So when it came to doing the music, I was kind of like, I want a really Southern rock kind of feel. And then what happened is, after I started writing the lyrics, was that obviously I looked up Ozymandias and then read about Ramesses II and all that kind of thing, and the fall of kings, because you know the way it's very hard to maintain that kind of power and influence. So I tweaked the lyrics a little bit after that, but yeah, it was really initially inspired by Breaking Bad and Walter White, Fall from Grace. And I think for me, we actually see that on a daily basis with our own, you know, politics in the UK and the US. And you look at now what's happening with Putin, and that line, look what you've done. Is it worth it? And I think as humans, that's something, you know, we really need to question, not only on a global political scale, but on a personal scale as well. And that's what I mean. For me, this album was an opportunity to open up as a songwriter and discuss things that I would never have discussed before, because people expect a good time rock and roll song from us. But I thought, nah, I'm just gonna put it all out on
something different.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, it's been delightful speaking to you. I wish you the best of luck with that new album. It's a very melodic album. It's right up my tree, really.
Thank you.
Because I bought the metal albums before, and it tends to be sort of four beardy guys growling at me. But I quite enjoyed this one. It was a lot of hooks and things to get to enjoy, really. But anyway, I think anyway, thank you. I think whoever it was who sent me it, I can't remember, but thank you for doing this interview, and I wish you the best of luck with the album.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
My pleasure. Enjoy the rest of your day.
You too. Take care.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye.